everyone, and welcome to the Transformation Triumph Summit. My name is Jamie Allen Bishop, one of your hosts for this event. I am so honored and excited to introduce these authors with their special wisdom and insights to share. I imagine that you're here because one of the topics appealed to you, or perhaps you're on a transformation journey of your own. I welcome you to enjoy, listen, observe, and take away some of the insights that these authors are sharing so that you can streamline your transformation triumphs. And now, here's more about each of our authors. Wonderful. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here to interview one of our authors for Transformation Triumphs. Transformation Triumphs is a book, a compilation book, an anthology book with multiple authors, each one of them writing a different chapter to create a wonderful summary of how each author perceives their transformation and or their triumph. So it's inspiring stories of personal and professional resilience that are written just for you. So thank you again for being here. We're here with Cheryl Clark, my cohort, and one of our authors, Will Becker. So yay, thank you for being here.
Thank you, ladies, for having me.
Awesome. Will, I'm going to read a little bit of an introduction about you, and then we'll ask you some questions, and we'll go from there.
You can just skip most of it because it's just details.
I know, but it's
not a big deal.
Details, because this is our first time introducing you to people who may or may not know who you are. So let's just go ahead and read it. I know if you're anything like me, it can be uncomfortable a little bit to hear your own bio, but that's okay. Just suffer through it. You'll be great.
Oh.
All right. So Will is a writer, podcaster, speaker, coach, and entrepreneur. He has served in several leadership roles over the last 25 years, has been a youth pastor, congregational leader, and assistant pastor. He has also served with the Boy and Cub Scouts, organizations as Scoutmaster, Assistant Scoutmaster, and Den Leader. Will moved up in his professional career because of his love of technology, leadership skills, and his constant self-education. Education is so important. He loves to teach and help others to grow and excel. Will seeks to learn best from the best books, authors, speakers, events, and mentors. And so, thank you so much for being here, Will. Yay!
Thank you. I'm so excited to be part of this project, this event, and this book. I have been talking to people about it. They're like, "You're doing what?" Like, didn't see that coming. I'm like, so I'm excited about it. I really am.
Which is a great place to start. What made you say yes?
Yes, love it.
Because I realized that this is one more way that I can help extend my reach and connection to other people. One of the things that I've learned over the last 8 years that has really been instrumental is the importance of connecting with other people. That the person that goes through life mostly by themselves, whether they think they're happy or not, probably aren't, because that connections make life rich and meaningful in ways that I didn't understand as a kid. And because of how much I moved through my life, I didn't really understand until after I got married and lived with my in-laws for 5 years. So
awesome.
That was a whole other adventure.
Right. So speaking of that, taking the theme of this event and the book, what does Transformation Triumphs, what does that mean to you?
So it means two things. One is that your personal transformation, my personal growth, is one, a triumph in itself, but two, it's a triumph because it shows other people that they can change also. One of the things that's happened recently in my house is that my third son, he started, I was away on a trip. I came home and I was like, where's Finn at? And Lauren's like, oh, he's walking the neighborhood. I'm like, what? He started coming home from school, changing clothes, walking. It's about a mile, 1.2 miles around the next street and back. And I'm like, okay. I've got another son who has gotten much more serious about high school lacrosse and putting in the workouts and the learning. And this is just in my house. Like, and then I have another son who's also started to make changes. And it's all because of my own personal journey and transformation and the triumphs I've had in losing weight. I'm down 90 pounds from my heaviest. It's crazy. It's the weight of one of my kids.
Yeah. Wow. Congratulations. That's huge.
Thank you.
That's huge. What made you decide to lose a little bit of weight?
So it's been something I'm working on. I can be a slow learner about some things because I know I have to figure out how I think about and process things to be able to rewrite the way I think and process about things. And so in that process, it has taken me time to understand, like, and listen to my body, what I need. And then just make those changes. And I've had some help along the way. We got a dog and I found out I was allergic to a bunch of stuff. But that was just another part of that journey where it made it easier for me to step into what I wanted to do, and kind of gave me permission to give up things that I was using as a crutch.
Interesting. I appreciate that you sharing that, the crutch side being huge. What do you think are some misconceptions around transformation and around that word and or even around the word triumph? Misconceptions or myths that people may hold on to and even utilize it as a resistance or a roadblock?
I think the first thing is that humans tend to have this idea of arriving at something and then it's like, and it's not the case. It's a journey. One of my favorite quotes, and I'm probably gonna botch it now because I don't have it in front of me, is that life is a journey. There's no destination, and you never arrive. It's just always that one step forward, that little movement. And so really you can have a transformation every day depending on what you're doing. You read something and it changes the way you think about another person, or like what I had happen to me in senior high school. I read a story about set in apartheid South Africa, and it made me change the way I looked at my dad and allowed me to forgive him for things that he had done. And two, it then helped to start the healing in our relationship because I was no longer holding his mistakes against him and judging him for them. The best part is that years later, I found out that he lived in an abusive home. He broke that cycle. He saw one of his uncles commit suicide, and he has come back into life despite those things, raised I'll just count myself, 5 wonderful kids. Him and my wife, him and my mom have had rocky times in their marriage, but their 50th anniversary is this November. And, a transformation can come at any day, any time. It can happen from one moment to the second. Like Jamie talked about earlier before we started recording, how her daughter saying something, I needed to make that change. And that's a transformation. Triumphs, we don't celebrate those enough in our lives. And I'm guilty. I'm totally guilty of that myself. Being able to walk away from hot tamale candies at 9:00 at night when I'm in the grocery store because my wife's like, I need to go get this stuff because we need stuff for the kids for tomorrow, or we need stuff for this other thing. And it used to be, if I was walking into Walmart or CVS or some other place, there's a box of hot tamales. If I ended up go passing them, whether I intended to or not, they were coming home with me. Again, that was a crutch, right? That was a place where that was a twofold thing. It was one of the few candies that I can eat right now because of the stuff that's going on with the allergies and everything. And two, uh, it's part of the food addiction that I've been waging war against in myself. And man, that just, sit there, the box of hot tamales and just eat them. And, but you know what? Now I can go in at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really need that. They're nice. Um, and so that's a small triumph for me. But how about for some people, it's just getting up on time. I'm a non-snoozer. I don't snooze my alarm, but that's what I do. My wife, I think she's a second or third snoozer, and it's not to pick on her. Please understand, it's just that's her way of getting up in the morning. She needs the time to do that. So, and everyone's different, but I just try to look for the triumphs in my life, and then try, like with my kids, especially my wife and the other people around me, to reflect those back and say, hey, you did a great job here. That's fantastic that you did that. Because one of the things that I'm trying to reverse for my kids, and you probably have heard this, it's one of those statistics that their kids hear like the word no like a gazillion times by the time they're 10 or something. So I'm trying to, encourage them to do things that they can do. They just don't know they can do it yet.
I love that. I
love the cheerleader. I love the cheerleader.
Yes, such a powerful role in our kids' lives for sure. If you can think of a client transformation story, what did that look like?
So one of my friends, let me preface a little bit. I read books. I don't know anyone that reads as much as I do. It's probably just because I'm weird, or just because I'm hungry for knowledge and experiences. But he reached out to me one day and he's like, hey, I saw the book you finished and I decided to pick it up. That was great. So I started talking with them and walking through some things with them. And that picking up that one book, because I talked about it on social media, caused them to check my website, talk to a couple other people he knew that are leaders in his life, and he started reading again and getting into the growth. Last time I talked to him, he's done 75 Hard, which is a really challenging program. And it's all self-monitoring. You do it yourself. The accountability is very high on that to yourself. Phenomenal guy. And I'm glad that I was just a spark in that. I mean, yes, I helped in other places, but really that first spark is the biggest thing for most people, is getting started and doing something good for themselves. And I love watching other people in that growth. I'm loving my kids right now. My son that's playing lacrosse, that he's just like really getting into it. And I'm loving his journey. My older son, I'm loving his struggle as he's doing high school and college at the same time, and realizing some of his choices are not playing well for him because there's consequences on the other side. And it's hard. It's hard on him. I'm enjoying it because I know the pain he's going through, but I also know that if he will start listening to some of the advice my mom, I keep saying that, I keep throwing my mom there because she's a big part of my transformation. My wife and I, his mom, and we're not trying to preach. We're trying to say, well, you might want to try doing this. You might want to try putting your phone down and going to bed at a regular hour because you're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So there's things he's got to learn to adjust, but being part of his encouragement and transformation has been fantastic. He hit me up last night at 10 o'clock. Hey, will you come do yoga with me? Yeah, sure. And so I started using this workout tool, and I come out with it, and he's like, well, what are you doing with that? I said, well, it's part of my workout now. I'm making some changes to improve. He's like, well, can I use it? I'm like, okay, sure. Then I went back and I got the next heavier one up, and I brought that out, and we did yoga for 15 minutes together.
Perfect.
So I love watching other people transform. And not feeling like I'm center stage, because it is about them, and helping them realize it's about you. You need to celebrate these moments.
Which is a perfect segue into the next question that I was going to. When Jamie was reading your bio, the word servant is in there several times, which I applaud. And heart-centered people just are people that we just love and adore 100%. But why is serving important to you? Why is it important to you to do what you do from an entrepreneurial standpoint?
Well, I had two really good examples. First is my mom. And I know she made sacrifices for us growing up. We were an Army family, which means we sometimes got to the end of the month and the only thing that was left was spaghetti. And sometimes we got to the end of the month, the only thing that was left was flour and oil and water, and we had bread. But my dad made sacrifices, and they served us in ways that other parents, I don't think I've seen them give the same. And maybe I'm just biased. Because I grew up with my parents. And that was my brother Rob. He's just 14 months younger than me, and he always was thinking about others. He's the person that helped me learn to forgive other people immediately when I realized I have no real emotion. I have no real, there's no dog in this fight for me. I can forgive that person and let it go, because I would do something mean, and 5 minutes later I'd apologize, and it was only half-hearted, and he'd forgive me. And one day I'm like, how do you just forgive? And he's like, because I'm not your judge. I'm your brother, and it's not my place to judge you. And we're Christian, so he kind of like, that's Christ's role. My role is to love you as my brother, to forgive you and the other people in my life as best I can. And he just made a decision one day to just forgive people and let it go. And that was so inspiring to me, because I was the hold a grudge until I die. I don't care if you're dead. I'm going to hold this grudge forever. And so those examples of serving and caring about other people played a big role in my life. And some of it was early on. And as I've gotten older and I've learned more about what leadership and serving means, their examples have come back to me, and I've remembered things, and it's inspired me then to push myself a little more. One of the things that, if I can get it right, one of the things a guy I look up to, he's a historical figure that I'm a huge fan of. He said that building others up will do more for society and your community than building yourself up. And so I've just tried to model that as best as I can as I continue to learn. There's a thing that happens on my team right now, where I look for things to encourage them, and now it's coming back to me. Now they're saying, and I'm like, at first I was like, wait, what happened? What just happened here? But now it's like, it's cool, because I'm encouraging them and congratulating them for the work that they're doing. And it's influencing them to not only bring that back to me, but also to other people that we work around. And it's just helping to create a better work environment. Thankfully, there's not just us doing it. There's a couple other people that are really active about expressing gratitude, which is also important in serving people. And it's just making the place that I work, for the time being, a much better place.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Being a servant leader is definitely in your soul. And I'm so glad that you have taken the journey that you have, because we, through networking with you for what is it, almost 3 years now, right? You have grown as a person, let alone as a business. So happy to be part of your journey too, whatever that looks like.
Well, I'm super grateful, because I first came to your networking group with the wrong attitude. I'll be honest. I own that. I messed up. But I quickly learned that the people there were there to help and to serve. And it wasn't about just their business and their business succeeding. It was about encouraging the other person. And as I realized that, I felt terrible. But then I quickly tried to shift my thinking so that I was more in line with the group. And I feel like the last probably year and a half, I've done pretty good at bringing some ideas and things and encouraging other people.
Absolutely.
It's just become a wonderful place for me to be at, and I'm super thankful for that.
That's so great. I just want to give you kudos. You are very inspirational, and every time you speak, everybody's like on edge waiting to hear what you have to say, which is really exciting to see. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So if people want to find Will Becker, how do they do that?
Probably the easiest thing is to go to turningleafs.com. That's leafs.com. Or if they want to find me across social media, you can just Google IRONW1L, and I pop out like a sore thumb. Because my little brother, Thanksgiving morning football game, get out of the house, stop messing with the cooks. So we went and played football, and I don't remember this. He swears it happened, but we're playing, just some backyard football, and I took a run, and I guess I ran most of the field, and it took 4 people to take me down. Like I said, I don't remember. But after that, he started calling me Iron Will. And then he quickly added Iron Will the Mighty Freight Train, which I'm totally embarrassed to say, but I will own it because it's what he says. And he just is part of his admiration for my transformation back in those days where I was really struggling sometimes day to day just to put 1 foot forward. And so I try to honor him in that also because he saw something to me that I didn't see in myself back then. And I'm super grateful for his example and his courage to do things that he's done in his life. So,
before you wrap up, Jamie, I just want to say I love that Will has spoken so much about being reflective, but reflective from the point of view of what I learned to move me forward, not reflective from the point of view of what I may have missed or that negative energy that sometimes comes with reflection. So, Will, I absolutely appreciate how you shared part of your journey with us, 100%.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you.
And I want to just have you tell us, because I think that you told this story right before we started recording, but you and your siblings meet regularly. Tell us just a tiny bit about that before we wrap it up. This warms my heart.
So this was probably 2018, 2019. So so it's me, a brother, a sister, then I have another brother, and then I have another sister. So there's 2 boys, a girl, 2 boys, a girl. And that's how our family's laid out. And I'm the oldest. And so my brother Rob, who I was spoken for, he comes to me and says, hey, I think we should do a Zoom, with everybody. And they actually initially started asking me to teach them some things. And so it started out where I prepared a lesson and I taught certain things about what we believe in, about entrepreneurship. And then over time, we kind of worked through that material. And then it became just a hangout, just to catch up, to see how the week has gone. And it's funny because I'll have siblings apologize to me. Oh, hey, I'm sorry I didn't make it last night. I'm like, there's no requirement. It's come as you can, but it's just to be together. And I have 1 sibling that lives outside of the state of Texas, and she lives near Philly. And then all the rest of my family lives out in Texas, within 4 hours of each other. And it's the easiest way to stay close. And if one of them doesn't get on the Zoom on Wednesday nights, you can be sure after 2 or 3 times I'm calling them to say, hey, I just want to check in on you. I know you're busy. I've got one brother who's an entrepreneur who's building 3 traditional businesses right now. I've got another brother who is now he's working remotely for a company where they're assessing homes for flipping and stuff like that. He's also homeschooling his kids while his wife is a teacher. I have another brother who's a corporate executive at a bank. They're all busy. And then I have a sister who's a single mom who works as a massage therapist and helps my parents. And then my sister who lives in the Philly area, works for her favorite fast food chain, absolutely loves it. And she's so good at her job. She works crazy long hours. And I'm like, I love you, but maybe you should think about something else, because we all have the same problem. My parents taught us to work and to work hard. And so we don't just lie down on the job. We put in the extra effort. And what that means, though, is that we all understand each other. We're all on the same level with most things. But also it means that not only are they reflecting on me and teaching me things, I'm able to do that back, but we are also influences in our communities to help other people. And, each one of my siblings has different stories about how they do that. And I'm just grateful that I can spend time with them on a regular basis and catch up and ask how their kids are doing, and, those kind of things, being more involved.
That story in and of itself is extremely inspiring. So thank you for doing that. I'm very excited for you that you do that with your siblings. And I hope that somebody takes that as an idea and runs with it with their siblings. Where are you, Will? I know where you are.
So I am in West Virginia. I'm in the Eastern Panhandle, which is sandwiched between Maryland and Virginia. It's interesting because I ended up here because of contract work with the government. And it's the longest place I've ever lived in my entire life. We moved here in 2009. I'm like, it's 15 years. What has happened? Now, it's been wonderful. It's also been challenging in new ways, but it's one of the things that helped me to grow and understand community better. And like, I don't usually dress up for Halloween. It drives my wife a little bit crazy. However, Halloween's a super important holiday in neighborhoods and communities because it helps you connect with your community, helps you connect with other people. So we put a fire pit out. And the adults will come up and stand by the fire, even if it's a little bit warmer. And I think this year we're going to do hot cocoa. We're going to put out hot water and cocoa, because I want people to feel welcome in my community. I want my neighbors to feel welcome around me. And the community thing is something that, so growing up in the Army, community is baked in. My neighbor in the Army, my dad's life depends on him doing his job. And the lady across the street, her life depends on the neighbor doing his job. And it's all interconnected in different ways because of the different work that they do and they support each other. So I had things baked in. I never had to think about community or worry about community. And now, as an adult with kids living in the same place, I've started to connect things that were there in my past that are now lessons again, because I'm learning how to do them for the first time. So
Love it.
Community is really big. I don't think most of us appreciate what we have or can have.
For sure. Cheryl, anything else to ask Will?
I'm grateful that he's part of our journey. I'm grateful that he wrote a chapter. I'm grateful that he said yes. I'm grateful that he's got a heart-centered servant heart, because he definitely takes care of all of us too, with his knowledge and his expertise and how he passes it along. So
yes,
totally.
yes. And if you are interested, I know you are interested after this interview. I know you're interested in buying the book. So ask any of us how you can do that. Iron Will Becker at turningleafs.com. And
yep.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Will. We love and appreciate you so much.
100%.
Cheryl and Jamie, I love you both. You guys have been a huge part of my journey over the last 3 years, and I'm so grateful for that.
We're
very grateful.
So very grateful to have you. So yes, pick up the book. The book is called Transformation Triumphs, and it will be out December 12th, 2023. Bye for now.
Woohoo!
Yay!